Hello everyone, welcome back to my High Celebrities news channel. The story for today is ITV's The Thief, His Wife and the Canoe premiered on Saturday night before being blasted by Hartlepool residents for the cast's rubbish attempt at the town's northeastern accent. The harrowing true drama about John Darwin's infamous fake death in 2002 was met with rave reviews by some. However, a collective of fans slated the drama for insulting them with associations to the Geordie twang. Despite the criticism, others lauded the gripping masterpiece for being brilliantly dark and superb, adding that they were shocked to see the coercive control of the main character being played out by Eddie Marsan. They wrote on Twitter, "The Thief, His Wife and a Canoe, so, why is it that ITV think people from Teesside speak with a Geordie accent? This happened in Hartlepool and we do not have that accent. Insulting. The Thief, His Wife the Canoe, a story researched and filmed. And they did no research on the accent. I saw the trailer, I won't be able to watch the program. We do not have a Geordie accent in Hartlepool. LMAO at all the Hartlepoolians raging that the Canoe Man thing was filmed on the headland, not Seaton. And also raging at the rubbish attempts at our accent. I mean, come on guys, you should know by now, normal people can't talk like us." The Thief, His Wife and the Canoe. I remember this happening like it was yesterday, yet I don't remember Hartlepool folk having Geordie accents. Laughing emoji. Watching The Thief, His Wife the Canoe and I'm yet to hear a single Hartlepool accent. The Thief, His Wife and the Canoe, I'm enjoying it. Playing spot the location is always popular here, even though the TV house is not in Seaton Carew. The accent is 30 or so miles to the north out. However, Marsan and Dolan are fascinating to watch. Meanwhile, fans of the program contradicted these claims, claiming it was literally perfect, which they are loving so far. Taking to the social media platform, they penned, "This Canoe guy really seems a horrible, vindictive piece of ST and I really don't think he deserves 2 programs to be made about him. #Canoeman #The Thief, His Wife and the Canoe." Watched the ITV program about the Canoe guy and I remember it being reported at the time, but the coercive tactics used by the guy is laid bare and some watching the program will think it was a drama written for TV and not actually real. #Canoe Man. Why is no one talking about the horrific coercive control? Man needed to be in a canoe accident. #The Thief, His Wife and the Canoe. I'm actually gripped by The Thief, His Wife and the Canoe. Didn't think I would enjoy it, but so far so good. Casting is awesome too. The Thief, His Wife and the Canoe is so funny. What a horrible man he is. Though The Thief, His Wife and the Canoe would be a laugh, but finding it a bit overwhelming and harrowing. TBQH. Watching The Thief, His Wife and His Canoe and the casting of Eddie Marsan is literally perfect. Of course I'm watching The Thief, His Wife and the Canoe. I was obsessed with that case for years. Crying emoji. The Thief, His Wife and the Canoe is brilliantly dark and superb, loving it so far. In the trailer for ITV's The Thief, His Wife and the Canoe, Anne Darwin, Monica Dolan, proclaims, "What have I done?" as her involvement in her husband's scheme unravels. The series is based on the true story of the John Darwin disappearance case, the man who faked his own death to claim life insurance and avoid bankruptcy, before turning up alive 5 years later. The latest promo clip of the series shows John, Eddie Marsan, and Anne concocting their scheme and keeping the shocking secret of John's fake death from their family. In the trailer, John is seen telling Anne, "I'm going to fake my death, what could be simpler?" In a voiceover, she says, "I begged him to turn himself in," and then asks him, "Where have you decided to live when it's all over?" One of Anne's sons, who believed their father was really dead, is then seen saying, "We should never give up hope, should we, ma'am?" Anne is shown feeling guilty for her involvement in the crime as she asks John, "You want me to exploit people's genuine sympathy for your benefit greater than?" He says, "Well, obviously don't put it like that, but yes." Once their secret is out, John and Anne's sons are seen speaking to the press, saying, "How could our ma'am continue to let us believe that our dad had died when he was very much alive?" The trailer concludes with a somber voiceover from Anne asking, "What have I done?" The show's writer, Chris Lang, described the plot as undeniably tragic, but also, on occasion, bleakly funny when explaining why he decided to create the series. He further explained, "It was just a story that kept on giving and so saying yes to it was a no-brainer." Happy-go-lucky's Eddie Marsan portrays John in the drama, while Monica Dolan takes on the role of his wife Anne, who became complicit in her husband's deception as she started to convince the world that he had gone missing. Despite describing him as a narcissist, Eddie did admit that he can see myself in him as he opened up about his own self-confidence. He explained, "I can identify with John's hubris. As an actor, I go from thinking I'm going to win an Oscar one week to thinking I'm going to be driving a cab the next. My self-esteem goes up and down all the time, so I can completely understand that in John. I understand that dreamer inside him, but not that part of him that can't deal with reality." Eddie also shared his joy to work alongside Monica, describing himself as a big fan of hers as he dubbed her one of the best actresses in the country. Monica's character, Anne, narrates the story from her point of view during the series, but revealed she only had the script to work from, as the real-life Anne did not want to be involved. She outlined, "From the beginning, Anne didn't want to contribute to this production. Shush has done her time and I respect that. I'm okay to leave well enough alone. Also, I've learned that the least useful thing an actor can bring into the room is judgment. That's almost the opposite of what we should be doing. I also want to put it in capital letters that this is a character in a script. I've never met her." The Darwin's jaw-dropping deception tricked insurers, police and even their two sons into believing the ex-prison officer had died in a North Sea accident. The couple started a new life in Panama, but the tale unraveled when John came back from the dead in 2007 claiming to have suffered amnesia. They were jailed for the fraud, with the extent of the parents' deception shocking the world. The show explores the extent of Anne's culpability and how much she was forced to go along with her husband's plan. Their sons, Anthony and Mark, are shown supporting their supposedly widowed mother for years, throwing wreaths into the North Sea in front of Anne's home where their father was hiding next door. When their sons visit her in Seaton Carew, near Hartlepool, John listens to their conversations through the dividing walls. Writer Chris Lang wanted the audience to debate among themselves just how much to blame Anne. The final of 4 episodes shows the truth coming out, and later, Anne's efforts to rebuild her family life in a way John, remarried and living in the Philippines, has not. Her attempts at reconciliation and her obvious feelings of guilt, in counterpoint to John, give the story a fresh twist. Lang said, "Good people do bad things, let's try and understand, let's try and forgive, because if her sons could forgive her, I would hope that we can as well." None of the Darwin family were involved in making the drama, though the script was based on court documents, police interviews, TV appearances and newspaper stories. But one of the Darwin sons was thought to have turned up to watch the first day of filming on location in Hartlepool, Lang said, and kept a low profile in a baseball cap and wearing a COVID mask. Lang felt the couple's direct input into the script would not have helped. He said, "How much do any of us understand why we behave the way we behave? It's complicated." Monica previously told how she has found other people were more sympathetic towards her character Anne than she is in the new Canoe Man series. Speaking to Radio Times, Monica said she thinks Anne's tragedy was that she tried to please everyone and was incapable of making clear decisions. With much of the show centering around whether or not Anne should be forgiven for her involvement in her husband's crime, Monica said, "I can't think of anything that divides people more than forgiveness. I found that other people were more sympathetic to Anne than I was. She was very good at her job and her secretarial work involved people management." She added, "Her tragedy was that she avoided decisions and tried to please everyone. But you can't go through life not making a decision. Not making a decision is a decision." Monica said she thinks Anne's defense of martial coercion was never going to work, but added that she thinks her sentence of 6 years and 6 months was a long one. Monica, who previously played serial killer Rosemary West, said she looks at her characters in a clinical way, especially those who are based on real people. The Darwin's jaw-dropping deception tricked insurers, police and even their 2 sons into believing the ex-prison officer had died in a North Sea accident. The couple started a new life in Panama, but the tale unraveled when John came back from the dead in 2007 claiming to have suffered amnesia. They were jailed for the fraud, and the extent of the parents' deception shocked the world. The show explores the extent of Anne's culpability and how much she was forced to go along with her husband's plan. Anne's inner monologue narrates the story, while Eddie Marsan plays narcissistic John with a glint in his eye. The script, at times funny, gives Anne a sympathetic hearing without shying away from the incredible hurt she inflicted on her loved ones. The sons, Anthony and Mark, are shown supporting their supposedly widowed mother for years, throwing wreaths into the North Sea in front of Anne's home where their father was hiding next door. When the sons visit her in Seaton Carew, near Hartlepool, John listens to their conversations through the dividing walls. Writer Chris Lang wanted the audience to debate among themselves just how much to blame Anne. The final of 4 episodes shows her efforts to rebuild her family life in a way John, remarried and living in the Philippines, has not. Her attempts at reconciliation and her obvious feelings of guilt, in counterpoint to John, give the story a fresh twist. Lang said, "Good people do bad things, let's try and understand, let's try and forgive, because if her sons could forgive her, I would hope that we can as well." Marsan said even the crew were divided by what they made of Anne. During her trial at Teesside Crown Court, she used the unusual defense of marital coercion, claiming her domineering husband had forced her to go through with the massive deception. It failed, but some observers have said that in a post-Me Too world, her explanation would get a more sympathetic hearing. Marsan said, "There's a generational interpretation of the story. The older female members of the crew felt that she should have taken more responsibility, and the younger ones felt that she was a victim." Dolan hoped the audience will yo-yo in their feelings towards Anne, saying, "We can feel guilty but still do things." That is all for today news. Please make sure to leave your comment and subscribe the channel below for more news update.